Hello? Hello? Am I audible on Teams? Once again checking before start. Okay, we'll start now. See, in the last lecture we were discussing, boys, sit in front now. Come on the second, first benches. Come, come, come here. Okay, so revise what we discussed in the last lecture after going home. 10-15 minutes. Do it consistently so that the concepts will get fit in your mind and brain, right? Just 10 minutes you can brush it up. Okay. So in the last lecture, what we were studying, different types of costs like total fixed cost, average fixed cost, average variable cost, right? So what is total fixed cost? Which two, when we add up to which costs we get the total fixed cost? I should wait 2 minutes until you open the books. Okay. 1 minute. Open up the page. Page number 58. Fine. Now we can start. Okay. So what we were discussing in the previous lecture, different types of costs we were seeing. In the short run, there are two types of costs, fixed and variable. But in the long run, what happens? All costs are variable, right? And what are fixed costs? The costs which remain fixed even if the output changes. So even if we produce 1000 units, if the fixed cost is 1 lakh, it will remain 1 lakh. Even if we produce 1 lakh units, the fixed cost is 1 lakh, it will remain 1 lakh. It will not change with the change in the output. If we produce 0 output, what will be the fixed cost? It is fixed, so how much it will be if it is 1 lakh? 1 lakh. Even if the output is 0, even if we don't produce anything, we have to bear that fixed cost as an organization. But in other side, what we saw? Variable costs. Variable costs vary with the change in the output. If the output increases, variable cost will, what will happen, boys? Increase. And if the output decreases, variable cost will decrease. And if there is 0 output, what will be variable cost? 0, right? It is dependent on the output, right? So we saw that in the short run, there are two types of costs, fixed cost, variable cost. But in the long run, all costs are variable, right? Now we were discussing this table. See, in this table there is an output which is increasing. There is total fixed cost, total variable cost and total cost. So what will be the total cost? Total fixed cost plus total variable cost will give us the total cost, right? So here we can see 20 is the total fixed cost, variable cost is 0, so total cost is 20 plus 0 which is 20, right? Again, total fixed cost is 20, total variable cost is 8. So total cost is 20 plus 8 which is 28, right? So this will go on for all the other outputs. Average fixed cost they have given us, average variable cost they have given us. So again, what will be average cost? Average cost is equal to average fixed cost plus average variable cost. So again see, average fixed cost is 0 here, average variable cost is also 0. So average cost is 0. Now average fixed cost is 20, average variable cost is 8. So 20 plus 8 is 28. So average cost is marginal cost. We saw marginal revenue, marginal utility, marginal product, right? You recall? Same concept, just the terms changing, cost, revenue, utility, right? So marginal cost will be the change in the cost due to change in the unit, one unit. So previously if the cost is 100 and it becomes 120, how much is the change? 120 minus 100, it is 20, right? So see, here also they have done the same thing. Total cost now they will be considering here. At start, when there are 0 units, there will be no marginal cost. See here. See here, when it is 1 unit, total cost is 28. 28 minus 20. 28 minus 20 is 8 is the marginal cost. Then see here on the total cost. What is this? 34, na? 34 minus 28. 34 minus 28 will give you 6. 38 minus 34 will give you 4. 42 minus 38 will again give you 4. So you got how we will derive the total cost, average cost and the marginal cost by this table. Clear? We'll move forward. Change in the total cost. बोल. नाही समजलं तुला. ठीक आहे बघ. 1 मिनिट. असं बोलत जा. मार्जिनल युटिलिटी ऐकलं? मार्जिनल युटिलिटी, मार्जिनल रेव्हेन्यू आपण आधी शिकलो. मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट, मार्जिनल रेव्हेन्यू, मार्जिनल युटिलिटी मी कन्सेप्ट क्लिअर केले होते ती. तसंच मार्जिनल कॉस्ट म्हणजे काय? मार्जिन म्हणजे काय? चेंज. आधी किती होतं, नंतर किती झालं. किती चेंज झाला त्याला मार्जिन म्हणतो आपण. हॅलो, येस. नाही तो कन्सेप्ट नाही इथे, तो कन्सेप्ट नाही. आधी मी सांगते था. हे बघ, आधी जर कॉस्ट 100 होती, 1 युनिट प्रोड्यूस करायला मला कॉस्ट, 1 मिनिट. हे बघ, तू पण लक्ष द्या, मी दोघांना पण समजवते. मार्जिन, 1 युनिट प्रोड्यूस करायला मला 100 रुपीज लागत होती, ही माझी कॉस्ट होती. आणि सेकंड ह्याला काय झालं, माझी कॉस्ट इन्क्रीज झाली 120. सो माझी चेंज किती झाला, 1 युनिट वाढल्यामुळे माझ्या कॉस्टमध्ये, त्याला मार्जिन म्हणतात. दॅट इज द मार्जिन. आता टोटल कॉस्टमध्ये आधीपेक्षा किती चेंज झाला, दॅट इज द मार्जिन. नाही बघ, ही टोटल कॉस्ट होती आपली 20, नंतर झाली 28. 28 मायनस 20 किती झालं, 8. 34 मायनस 28 6. 38 मायनस 34 4. 42 मायनस 38 अगेन 4. टोटल कॉस्टमध्ये आपला किती चेंज झाला, मार्जिनल कॉस्ट आहे ना, म्हणून कॉस्टमध्ये किती चेंज झाला आपला ते दाखवत आहेत. कळलं शैला? हॅलो, काही डाऊट आहे का तुला? नाही ना? असेल तर विचार. तुला कळलं मार्जिनल? ठीक आहे, आता पुढे जाऊयात आपण. Now we are seeing what is average cost. Why? See, what is average in normal terms? When we add up all the 3 numbers, if we have 10, 12 and 13, these three numbers, if we add up 10 plus 12 plus 13 and divide it by, how many are they? 1, 2, 3. Divided by 3, we'll get the average, that is 12. So same concept here for cost. When we add up the cost of all the units, what is the cost of one unit to how many the total cost? This summation shows the total, right? So that will be the total cost divided by the number of units produced, right? That is the average cost. Another one thing, what can be average cost? Average, what we saw in the table, right? Average fixed cost plus average variable cost can also give us average cost, right? If we add up average fixed cost and average variable cost, we'll get average cost, what we saw in the table. So these two will help us in determining the average cost. It is the average total cost per unit of output. When the total cost is divided by the number of units of output, AC can be obtained. AC is average cost, right? Here see, they are given. What is average cost? Average fixed cost plus average variable cost will give us average cost. Another what can be total cost divided by the number of units produced will give us the average cost. These two things can help in giving us the average cost. Piyush, any doubt? So same here, what is average fixed cost? Total fixed cost we will take and divide it by the number of units, it will give us average fixed cost, right? Now just instead of taking total cost, what we will take? We will precisely take total fixed cost because we want total average cost, average fixed cost, right? If we want fixed, we will take the fixed part and then divided by the number of units. The average fixed cost is equal to total fixed cost. We will not take total cost because we just want the fixed one. So we will take only the total fixed cost and divided by the quantity or the number of units produced. Okay. It is the average total fixed cost per unit of output. When total fixed cost is divided with the number of units of output, average fixed cost can be obtained. Now they are saying it is a rectangular hyperbola. So what is the reason that it is a rectangular hyperbola? Anyone? Why it is like this? It is falling from left to right. Average fixed cost. Any logic? No. Okay, I'll tell. See, what is fixed cost? Fixed cost will always remain fixed. We will calculate average fixed cost. See, if the total fixed cost is 1 lakh and the number of units are 10, what will be average fixed cost? 10,000. Okay. Now, in this chart, what you can see in figure 1.3, as we move towards the right, the output increases, right? The number of units produced increases. So what will happen? Average fixed cost 1 lakh will again remain 1 lakh if the number of units of output increase. Now the unit of output increase to 100. Now what will be average fixed cost? 1000. Again the number of units of output increase. Fixed. The upper numerator will remain constant, right? But the denominator is increasing. So what is happening? So it is getting reduced. Got it? See again, the fixed cost will remain 1 lakh. Number of units became 1000. Oh, 3. So it became 100. So what we are observing, first it was 10,000, now it is 1000, now it is 100. Is it increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. Why? So this curve is a rectangular hyperbola. Why? The numerator is fixed, 1 lakh. Fixed cost it is, so it will always remain fixed. but the denominator will go on increasing as the number of units of output of the organization go on increase. When the numerator is fixed, denominator increases, ultimately the value that we will get is go on decreasing. So this curve we can see go on decreasing, right? Correct? Now we will move forward. Shaila, any doubt on this? Hello? Huh? No, na? Okay. Now we were seeing what is average variable cost. Now what we saw, if we want average fixed cost, what we were taking total fixed cost. Now we want average variable cost, what we will take total variable cost and divided by the number of units of output, right? So what is average total cost? Average cost is variable cost is equal to total variable cost divided by the quantity, that is number of units of output. When we want variable, we will specifically take variable aspect from the total cost, not all the aspects. Got it? So see, average variable cost. It is the average total variable cost per unit of output when the total variable cost is divided by the number of units of output. Average variable cost can be obtained. See here, both are now varying. See, here in this, why this is happening is, this is a U curve because the numerator and the denominator both will be changing. Number of output, number of units of output will also increase. As the number of units of output will increase, the variable cost will also increase, total variable cost. So both are changing. So this is in U sign, it is not falling. Previously what we were seeing, fixed cost, numerator was fixed. Only the denominator was increasing. So the value was becoming low, less. And so the curve was like this, it was falling, right? But now both the numerator as well as the denominator are changing. Both will change, right? As the number of units of output increase, variable cost will also increase, what we saw, right, Piyush? So both the numerator and denominator are changing. So this is like U-shaped curve. Got it? Now Piyush, you tell me, I discussed marginal cost. You tell me what will be marginal cost. The change in the total cost due to change in 1 unit of output. So how we will derive it? Two formulas we discussed. So can you tell me those two formulas? We saw like change, total cost is change, TCN minus TCN minus 1. Like now what the total cost was minus the previous total cost, right? And other what? Change in the total cost and change in quantity. We have discussed this in case of marginal utility, marginal revenue, marginal product. This is the same formula. Both formulas are same. We have discussed them in case of marginal revenue, marginal utility and marginal product. They are same. Just in case of total cost, it will be total utility, total revenue, total product. Margin means what? Change. So change in the total cost and change in the quantity. And another thing what we saw, if it was 100, it became 120. 120 minus 100. So TC, total cost N minus total cost N minus 1. Clear, Piyush? Okay. Marginal cost. It is the additional cost to produce the additional unit of thing. Additional means what? Whatever the change it is bringing in the cost, right? If it was 100, it became 120. Additional 20. The change in the total cost is called marginal cost. What I said, right? Change. Just a minute. What is your name? We discussed what is average cost, what is marginal cost. Can you tell me what is the difference, or just what is average cost and what is marginal cost? Same concept it is there. I will help you. We will both together try to do it. So you start something, I will help you in that. Average cost we will discuss first, and then marginal cost. Difference. What is average cost? It is the total cost per unit of output, right? How we will derive it? Total cost plus number of units produced, right? Simple now, guys. See, if we have 10, 11, 12, what we are doing? We are adding it up. 10 plus 11 plus 12. 1, 2, 3. 3. Similarly, we will get the average 11. So, here also same concept. Average cost, we total. So, the total cost. And down, how much units are there? Number of units. Right? And what will be the marginal cost? The change in the total cost divided by change in units quantity, or the TCN minus TCN minus 1, that is the change in the additional change in the cost, or the change in the total cost, right? Marginal cost is the change, while average cost is the average, right? And how we will derive average cost? Average fixed cost plus average variable cost will give you average cost. Two things we can derive average cost. Average cost is equal to average fixed cost plus average variable cost, or we can derive it by total cost divided by the number of units produced. And marginal cost is the change or the additional cost. So, how we will derive it? Change in the total cost divided by change in quantity, or TCN minus 1. Clear on these two concepts? See, now they are going on the diagram, figure 1.37. What is happening? There is an intersection of marginal cost and average cost. So what they are saying, at the point where the marginal cost and the average cost curve intersect each other, that is at the point Q, the average cost is minimum. So what they have done is, on a figure or on a diagram, they have plotted marginal cost, they have plotted average cost for the number of units produced. So, at a point where the average cost and the marginal cost intersect each other, these curves intersect each other, is the point of output, that is Q, right? This is the point of output where the average cost will be minimum. Clear? Piyush? At point Q, where marginal cost curve and average cost curve intersect each other, average cost is minimum. Piyush, clear? Okay. So now we will discuss total cost. So what we saw in the table, how we will derive total cost? Total fixed cost plus total variable cost is the total cost, or adding up all the costs of units produced will give us the total cost. So, but one thing, will the total cost change with the reference to total fixed cost or total variable cost? What will drive the total cost? पण कशामुळे? फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट मुळे चेंज होणार टोटल कॉस्ट का टोटल व्हेरिएबल मुळे चेंज होणार? फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट तर तेवढीच राहणार, बरोबर? मग टोटल कॉस्ट जी आहे आपली ती ड्राईव्ह कशामुळे होते? टोटल व्हेरिएबल कॉस्ट, राईट. म्हणजे टोटल व्हेरिएबल कॉस्ट जर इन्क्रीज झाली, if the total variable cost increases, total cost will also increase, because fixed cost will remain fixed only, it is not increasing. So if this factor, other addition factor increases, total cost will increase, and if the total variable cost decreases, total cost will decrease. So the deriving factor for the total cost is total variable cost, right? We will see, read this. Total cost. When the fixed costs are added with the variable cost, then the total cost is obtained, right? Total cost is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. When the output increases, total cost also increases. When the output decreases, total cost also decreases. The total cost curve will slope upwards from left to right, as there is a direct relationship between output and total cost. There is a direct relationship between variable cost and total cost, and also total cost and output. See, Piyush, if the output increases, variable cost will also increase. So, if the output increases, total cost will also increase. So, there is a direct relationship between total cost and output, and total cost and variable cost. Got it? Now we are again on this fixed cost and variable cost. So now we discuss what is fixed cost, what is variable cost. Can you tell me in the short run and long run what types of costs are there? We will revise this. It is there, same it is there. So in the long run, Piyush, which type of costs are there? Variable, fixed, which? Long run, only variable, right? And in the short run, fixed and variable. So can you give me an example of fixed cost? Land, building, machinery. What is variable cost? Raw material that we bring, the winches, whatever that may be, variable cost. Now what we saw, if the output is 0, what will be fixed cost? Fixed cost. Fixed cost will remain fixed. It will remain the same. Just remember, it is a fixed cost, so it is not going to change. It is fixed only. Even though output is 0, if fixed cost is 1 lakh, it will remain 1 lakh only. Even if we don't produce anything as an organization, we have to bear the fixed cost. If the variable cost increases, what will happen to the total cost? Increase. If the variable cost decreases, total cost will decrease. If variable cost is, if the output is 0, what will be variable cost? 0. But if the output is 0, fixed cost is not 0. It will remain fixed. If it is 1 lakh, we have to bear that 1 lakh rupees even if we don't produce anything. Clear on this? Now we will see. Fixed cost. The costs which don't change with the change in the output are called fixed costs. Name only suggests, right? It is fixed. It means output may be increased or decreased without change in cost. Irrespective of the level of output quantity, the producer may incur these costs. See Piyush here. Even if the output is 0, what is the fixed cost? Piyush? Fixed. How much is the amount? It will remain fixed. Remember this, don't get confused on this, Piyush. Even if the output is 0, fixed cost is positive. The fixed cost curve will be parallel to OX axis. Why? Because it is constant. See, this is the X axis. Fixed cost is same. It is not increasing, decreasing. So it is straight line. Fixed, na? So. Example, expenditure on land, building, salary of permanent employees, interest payment, insurance premium. Variable cost. Costs which change with the change in the output quantity are called variable costs. It means when the output is increased, what will happen, Piyush? Variable cost will increase. When the output is decreased, variable cost will decrease. And when the output is 0, what will happen? Variable cost will be 0, because it is changing with relation to output. Fixed cost is fixed. It is not changing at all. Fixed only. The total variable cost curve will slope upwards from left to right and start from the origin. Why it will slope upward? See, fixed cost curve fixed because it is constant, it is not changing. Why they are saying it is sloping upward from left to right? Like, see, they are saying like this. If this is the output, this is the cost, they are saying the variable cost curve, total variable cost curve is sloping upwards. See, like this, it is going upward. This is the curve. So, any reason? What will be the reason? See, if the output increases, what we studied, total variable cost is increasing. If it is increasing, output is going on the right side. Output is increasing. So, total variable cost will also increase. So, it is going upwards from left to right. Clear? We are now seeing cost function. So, cost function, what is cost? It is a function of the quantity of units produced, right? See this one, cost function. Anyone, we discussed now fixed cost, variable cost difference. Any doubt on that? No, na? We will see cost function. See, cost function is, cost is what? It is a function of the output, right? If the organization produces more output, it has to bear more cost, right? So there is a direct relationship. So that only they have given it here. The cost function explains the functional relationship between cost of production and physical quantity of output. Here what we can see, it is a direct relationship. If the quantity of output increases, cost of production will also, what will happen? Increase. ती जास्त काही नाहीच आहे, एकच सेंटेन्स आहे बघ, दिसतंय ना इथे, एकच सेंटेन्स. तुमच्या बुक मध्ये नाही दिलेलं का? ठीक आहे, एवढं काही नाहीये, ते एकच सेंटेन्स. फक्त एवढंच लक्षात ठेवा की डिरेक्ट रिलेशनशिप आहे कशामध्ये, कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन आणि आउटपुट. आउटपुट वाढलं तर कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन पण वाढेल. एकच सेंटेन्स आहे, सोडून द्या. इथपर्यंत कळालं ना सगळं? आता आपण बघूयात कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इकॉनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल. स्केल म्हणजे काय? प्रोडक्शन वाढतं लार्ज स्केलवर की कमी होतं? स्केल ऑफ प्रोडक्शन वाढलं म्हणजे स्केल म्हणजे प्रोडक्शन खूप इन्क्रीज होतं. म्हणजे समजा आधी 1000 युनिट प्रोड्यूस करत होते, आता 1,00,000 युनिट प्रोड्यूस करतो आपण, तर आपलं स्केल खूप वाढलं प्रोडक्शनचं, कुठल्या पण ऑर्गनायझेशनचं. बरोबर? तर असं काय होतं? सो व्हॉट हॅपन्स इफ द स्केल ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इन्क्रीजेस, what happens? We get some benefits. What will happen? We will get some benefits. So that benefits are called as economies, and we will get some disadvantages. That disadvantages we are called as diseconomies. Clear? Piyush, you understood what are economies, economies? Tell me just once. ते ॲडव्हान्टेजेस जे, त्या ॲडव्हान्टेजेस जे मिळतात आपल्याला त्याला इकॉनॉमीज म्हणतो आपण. आणि इफ द अँड व्हॉट एव्हर द, हॅलो, शैला स्पीक. Got the term economies and diseconomies? Don't get confused in the exam if you get this term economies and diseconomies. Clear? Now we will see the types of economies. So we will get, there are certain advantages that we get on internal and external. See, advantages can be to a single organization or to the whole industry, right? Whole industry producing this automobile car manufacturer, whole car manufacturer companies will get the advantage. Or there can be other scenario, only one car manufacturing company like Tech Mahindra will get, Mahindra will get that benefit. Mahindra and Mahindra will get that benefit. So you got what is the difference between internal and external? I'll repeat. See, in internal what happens? Economies means what? When we increase the scale of production, we get certain benefits or advantages that are called economies. And when we increase the scale of production, again we get certain disadvantages that are called diseconomies. So this type of economies can be of two types, internal and external. Internal is when only that advantage or disadvantage is related to one organization in the industry. Only one company. Only one firm, one organization. While external, what it says, the whole industry, like automobile industry, complete that automobile industry will get that benefit or disadvantage or disadvantage. Clear? Like see in automobile, if we see internal, what it will be? Only one, take any one name, Tata Motors. And if we take external, all the automobile which are producers will get that, whole industry will get that, automobile industry will get the benefit. Clear on these terms now? Now we will move forward. We will read this. They have provided. Economies of scale. Economies of large scale production. Economies of scale are the reduction in the per unit cost of production as the volume of production increases. When the output is carried out in large quantities, there are some advantages. That advantages are called economies. These advantages are called economies, right? Of the large scale production. They are divided into two types, internal and external. Internal economies, what they are saying, when a firm expands its size of business or increase in output, it gets some advantages. They are called internal economies. These internal economies are related to a single firm. Clear? Single, not the whole industry, and not related to all other firms in the industry. And we will see external. And now I'll read external. Firm is a unit. Firm is a unit. The group of firms is called industry. When the industry expands, there are some advantages. These advantages are enjoyed by all the firms in the industry, all the automobile producers. So they are called external economies. These economies are open for all the firms, which means they are not related to a single firm. Clear? Clear now what are economies, diseconomies, types of economies, internal, external. Now we will see what benefits we will get. A minute here. This is hanging out. Now types of internal economies. Economies means advantages, internal means related to a single firm. So what they are saying? First, labor economies. So if the scale of production increases, what will happen naturally is the training for those particular organization will become a large scale, like the production number of laborers will increase in that company, more laborers will be required to produce. So if more laborers are required, more trainings will be will be given to the proper laborers, and then what will happen, we will classify them as which are skilled for this specific work, which are suited for this work. Like see, if they are producing uh, something, some laborers will do repair and maintenance, some will do painting, right, painting of the vehicle, some will be responsible for putting the material into the machinery. So 2-3 type of different types of works will be there. So what we will do, we will check this person is skilled in painting, this person is skilled in maintenance or repair of the machinery. So what we will do, these skilled laborers, we will ask them to do this particular work only. You are skilled at this, you do that work more, right? You are skilled at this, you do this work. So what will happen? The quality of production will increase, right? Good quality will happen. Productivity will increase, because if I am good at a particular work, I will take less time to do that work with good quality, right? So the productivity efficiency will increase, in turn the what will happen, it will benefit the organization, right? See, they are saying same thing here. Labor economies, division of labor and specialization are possible in large scale operations. Different types of workers can specialize and do the job for which they are more suited. As a result, the quality and the speed of the work will improve. Now what they are saying, technical economies. So if it is a large scale of production, it has to invest in machinery also on a large scale, right? So small machineries will not be useful. So when they are investing in the technology, large scale machinery, ultimately what will happen? More machinery is increased, cost of production will reduce, and more productivity and efficiency will come into place, right? Same thing they are saying. A large firm will be able to install large capacity of machines in place of small size machines. It also adopts latest technologies. This will give mechanical advantage over small firms and reduce the cost. Managerial economies. So now what they are seeing, managerial economies. So if the organization is producing on a large scale, it will employ very skilled people, very knowledgeable and very managers to handle the organization and the production and everything, right? Administration. So again, if the managerial people are good, again what will happen? In turn, it will benefit the organization. Productivity will increase, efficiency will increase, right? Highly talented managers of specialized skills will be employed by large firms. It helps to make better decisions in the production. Now what they are saying? Marketing economies. See, if I am producing on a large scale, I will require large amount of raw material. If I want a large amount of raw material, I will get more discounts, right? I am purchasing it in a large quantity. So the cost will again be minimum. And what transport concessions will also be there. If anyone purchases on a large scale, you get benefit, right? You know, if you go at a shop and you purchase one quantity, will they give you discount? If you take 12 in dozens or something like that, they will say we give you discount. So similarly, if I am taking large amount of raw material, I get discounts or transport concessions on the raw material. And what will happen ultimately is that the cost of production will be low. My cost will reduce and I will benefit. I will get an advantage. Economies. Got it? Marketing economies. Large scale purchase of raw material and sale of finished goods give the advantage of transport concessions to the firm. Advertisement costs will be less due to large output sales. Again, when we are doing an advertising campaign, if there is a specific advertisement cost 1 lakh rupees, if the number of output produced is large, the advertisement cost to allocate per unit of output will be low. See, if 1 lakh is the advertisement cost, previously I was producing 10,000 units, and now I increased my scale of production to 10,000 units. Again, the advertisement cost per unit of output that we will recover will be low. Right. Financial economics. So, if there is an organization who is producing on a large scale, will that organization get finance easily? Yes. And at a cheaper rate, right? Because they can put more things at mortgage, right? Their investment in machinery is high, so that there is a reliability on them. So they will get more amount of finance easily at a cheaper rate. Financial economics. Large firms will also be able to borrow credit easily. These firms will be able to offer securities, and their goodwill in the market enables them to borrow at reasonable rate of interest. They can also raise capital by attracting investors. Like, not only loan, but they can take equity capital also, right, easily, because they are large organizations, they have some goodwill in the market, right? That's why. Next is what? Research and development. You know, research and development costs are huge costs. Small organizations cannot bear these costs, right? So when it comes to research and development costs also, the organizations which are producing on a large scale or a large level can easily bear that cost because their profit margin is more, right? Research and development. Improvements in technology, efficient use of resources, and improvement in quality of products depends on research. Only large firms can afford to bear the expenditure on research. Economies related to transport and storage. See, if it is a large organization producing on a large scale, it will have its own storage go down where it can store and provide the raw material. So the storage cost ultimately again will get reduced, because outsourcing it to a different person, he will take a large amount from us. Instead, if we ourselves have a storage go down and store our raw material or finished goods in that go down, our cost will be less instead of outsourcing the storage to another person. So here also they are saving the cost, and so the profit will increase and they will get an advantage. Economies related to transport and storage costs. Large firms are able to enjoy freight concessions from railways and road transport. We discussed this, right? In transport, they will get concessions. So I did not take this one. Means the large vehicles, which results in fall per unit of transport cost. Similarly, a large firm can also have own storage godowns which can store raw material, finished goods, and the cost will get reduced, right? Risk bearing economies. See, if I am producing on a large scale, can I bear more risk or less risk? More risk, logically. If I am producing on a large scale, I will have that ability to bear more risk. And if I am, why? Because if I get loss, I am selling A, B, C, D products, finished goods. See, car also, a company has Nexon, Indica, right? Different types. Nexon, Indica, whatever it may be. Nano, if a company has. See, these three types of cars I have. Even if I bear a loss in the nano unit, if I get more profit from Nexon and Indica, that I will get profit ultimately. I can bear that risk, right? That only they are saying. Risk bearing economics. Generally, large firms diversify their production into different goods and services. Therefore, even if there is loss in one unit, one item of good, it can be covered by profit in other goods. See, like company like Tata Motors, even if it had launched Nano, but it did not get that much response. So even though it had some loss in that nano unit, it was able to bear it because it had other different cars like Nexon, Indica, different types of cars, big cars, and very quality cars. So from that products they are getting revenue. So even if the nano product gets a loss or a bit less revenue, it will not impact them much. So they can take risks, right? So now we will be discussing diseconomies. So what are the disadvantages when we increase the scale of production to a specific organization? Internal diseconomies are those disadvantages which are internal to the firm and accrue to the firm when it over expands its scale of production. Management economies. See, management, when the firm operates on a large scale, there will be some problem in the management, right? They will not be able to properly manage it because the scale of production is large, the people are more, the raw material is more, the plant is big, machinery is more, everything is in large scale. So managing that, managing those people, managing the raw material, managing the supply chain, managing the finance, managing every aspect becomes difficult, right? So the management cooperation and supports lacks a bit. So that problem we face when we increase the scale of production. These economies occur primarily because of increasing managerial difficulties due to large scale of operation. It becomes difficult for the top management to exercise control to bring about proper coordination. Logically, see, if you have a large scale production, you will have a big plant, you will have lot of people working, you will have lot of machinery, lot of raw material, lot of finished goods in and out every day. Financial team, every team, technological team, different design team, lot of people working. So it becomes difficult to manage big organizations which produce large. So we face that problem as a disadvantage when we increase the scale of production. Technical diseconomies. See, when the size of the plant increases, the number of people also increases, we face certain issues, technical issues like it can happen like people coordination is not there, the raw material is not on time, or what happened is the raw material came but proper storage was not there, I did not get the raw material when required. So these problems are faced. So these are technical diseconomies. A firm frequently changes in technology. See, what will happen as a large organization, you have to continuously update the technology. So technological changes also come in place. So cost also again increases, right? So again to bring in new technology, people will resist, right? Anyone does not like new technology, the people who are working there, right? People resist to new technology. So to making them properly accustomed, training them again, lot of problems. So that are the technical issues that we face. Risk bearing diseconomies. So what they are saying, when again the scale of production increases, what happens is that people, people's preferences change, tastes change, opinions change, fashion in the market goes on changing. Now there is what? Electric vehicles. Previously, now there is a new trend of electric vehicles. So the organization again has to change themselves with the changing environment of. So it has to produce now electric vehicles. So again the machinery, previously it has to change, make some changes in that machinery. Again train people for what the new machinery that they are using. Again training of the people. Again design will change. Everything will go on changing. Because what people's taste preference go on changing. Substitutes come in the market. Right? So that's the issue that they are facing. Risk bearing diseconomies. The business cannot be expanded Definitely because of the principle of increasing risk. The risk of the firm increases because of reduction in demand, change in fashion and introduction to new substitutes in the market. It has to evolve by the changing market. It has to change. So again it is a disadvantage. Again everything it has to do again, right? Change the machinery, train the people, change the design for, they now need to produce electric vehicles. Now the changing, designing, everything will change. What they are saying? Financial diseconomies. Sometimes what happens is that large organizations require instant capital. They require large amount of capital and sometimes they require capital at urgent because they are taking risk, right? So in this what happens, urgently when they are requiring capital, at such times they need to pay a higher rate of interest. So that is a cost again. Financial diseconomies. A large firm has to borrow large amount at even high rate of interest. It imposes a burden on the financial position of the firm. So what will happen to the cost in relation to economies and diseconomies? Any idea? Economies are the advantages. So what will happen? Cost will increase or decrease if we get an advantage? What did you say? Repeat again. It is an advantage that you are getting. So what will happen to the cost? Volume discount you got. So what will happen to the cost? It is an advantage that you got. Cost will reduce. And if it is a disadvantage, like in urgent case you needed to borrow capital at a higher rate of interest. So you got a disadvantage by increasing the scale of production. So what will happen in case of disadvantage, diseconomies? The cost will increase. Piyush, clear on this, what will happen to the cost in relation to economies and diseconomies? See, economies are the advantages that we get when we increase the scale of production. Diseconomies are the disadvantages. So if we get an advantage, the cost will reduce. And if we get a disadvantage, the cost will increase. So what, see this figure 1.8, what it is saying, this is the cost on y-axis. This is the output on x-axis. If we get an economy, that is an advantage, cost will reduce. So this cost is, average cost is falling. Clear? And if we get a diseconomy, we got a disadvantage by increasing the scale of production. Disadvantage, so the cost is increasing. Clear? Impact of internal economies and internal diseconomies on long-term average cost. When a firm accrues internal economies, economies means the advantages, with the expansion of its scale of output, the long-term average curve would fall, and after a certain point, the firm receives the internal diseconomies. With the expansion of its scale of output, the long-term average curve would rise. Thus, internal economies causes the long-term average cost curve to fall because the cost will decrease. Advantage, we got cost will decrease. Advantage means what advantage we got? Large scale raw material we are taking, we got some discounts on it. So the cost, what happened of the raw material, decreased. And internal diseconomies cause the long-term average curve to rise. Hence, the internal economies and diseconomies are responsible for the U-shaped curve of the long-term average curve. This is shown in the diagram. Clear? Piyush, clear? You three clear? Ask him. You are clear on economies, diseconomies? Now what are external diseconomies, Piyush? I'll erase this till then you can tell me. External economies. Economies means the advantages. External means what to the all the firms in the industry. Automobile producers, every automobile producing company will get that advantage. So all the firms in the industry. So what advantages we get as an industry if we increase the scale of production? First, they are seeing economies of localization and concentration. See, if the scale of production of only automobile companies increases. So what will happen if the automobile companies will concentrate in a particular area? In that area, the roads, the bridges, the transport facilities will become good. Right? So they are saying economies of localization or concentration. In that particular area, electricity will be freely available. It will not get disturbed. It will be in a continuous flow. Like we see, right? Sometimes electricity is required, and sometimes in our area, mostly electricity goes off, so problem. So if these firms concentrate, all automobile producers concentrate in a particular area, that area will get developed transport facilities, bridges, electricity, proper other infrastructure facilities will be developed in that area. So every industry, every organization, automobile producer will get benefit, right? That only. Location of several firms at one place makes certain facilities available. Local authorities may develop roads, communication, power, irrigation. Other facilities like banking, insurance, skilled labor will come up in the area. These arrangements benefit all the firms in the place. Every automobile producer will get benefited. Economies of disintegration or specialization. What they are saying is that suppose I am an automobile manufacturer and I am producing the car in various steps. First I am getting the raw material, then I am doing the design, then I am building the body, then after building that body I am getting the parts, I am fitting those parts, I am building that outside body, internal body, then it is created, then I am doing some painting on it, and then I am what I can do is I can check whether it is working properly before selling it, right? Organizations do these things also. They check, right, is it working properly or not before I am selling, the quality is right, is it working at a good pace before selling it. So all these things, instead of one firm they are saying doing all these things, disintegration means what? If there is Mahindra, Tata and another company like, what we can say, Volkswagen. So instead of doing these 3-4 activities individually, they are saying economies of disintegration mean one activity will be done by Mahindra, another activity will be done by Tata, another will be done by Volkswagen. They are saying disintegrating that activities into different. This can do one thing is that it can reduce the cost. Only one thing, but it has certain problems also that we will see in diseconomies, right? what will happen? It can reduce the cost. But because no machinery, only that process machinery will be required by Mahindra. What particular process it is performing, only that particular process machinery will be required by Tata, right? If it is performing only one single operation of that producing of car, that is disintegration. This can reduce the cost, but what other drawback it can do is, see, if Tech Mahindra fails to do it is a sequence of operations, like production is a sequence of operations. After the first operation is done, then only we can do the next operation if it is done on a with that level of quality. See, if Mahindra is not able to do due to some reason, lack of raw material or problems in the machinery, the first operation, what will happen in turn? Will Tata and Volkswagen be able to do the next operations? No. So it will create bottlenecks, problems, right, in the production process. So that is a disadvantage. It is not mentioned here, but I am telling you in advance. We will see that in the diseconomies of scale. It is just economies of disintegration or specialization. Production of goods can be split into different parts and each firm may take up one part of producing the goods. This will result in specialization and improvement of performance of each firm in the production. This division of labor helps to produce more output and reduces cost of production. It will reduce cost of production, but the disadvantage that it is giving us is that it will create bottlenecks, problems in the production. Economies related to information services, what they are saying? See, if this is also not a very a genuine advantage that they are saying, economies related to information services. They are what they are saying, if the organization, firms in the particular industry or automobile industry share with each other the skilled labor, information related to the skilled labor, related to the raw material, it will benefit every firm. But in actual scenario, is it that possible in this competitive market? What do you think? No. So that is also not an advantage as such, we can say. It is they have mentioned it as an economy, but it is not feasible or not practical in the real world scenario. Economies of related information services. All the firms in the area are dealing with the same goods. Information can be shared among the firms about raw material, skilled labor, marketing. Do firms share this? Mostly they avoid to share this, right? Because in this competitive market, most of the firms don't try to share this information, right? It is logical that if they share this information, the industry will benefit. But in this competitive market where every organization has a competitive role, lot of players are there in the market, it is not feasible to share the information. Economies of producers organization. What they are saying, this can be an advantage. See, if every firm does research development, every firm will try to do research development. So this research and development that it is doing on its products, if it shares with other firms in the industry, they can also do that research development with a lower level of cost, and that will benefit all the firms, right? See, economies of producers organization. Collective research by all the firms on new products, technologies will help reduce the expenditure. The fruits of the research will be enjoyed by all the firms. I need to erase this, just a minute. Clear on the concepts now? No doubts. It's simple. इकॉनॉमिक्स एवढं कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नाही आहे ना, का वाटतं? कसं वाटतं सब्जेक्ट? हां, थोडंसं काय काय? ओके ओके, 12th मध्ये होतं ना? हँग झालं यार. हँग झालंय. आता ठीक आहे. What we are seeing now is external diseconomies. What is external? All industry, all firms. Diseconomies means what? Disadvantages that the firms or the industry faces due to increase in the scale of production. So we'll see what happens. Diseconomies which accrue to the firms as a result of expansion in the output of the whole industry are termed as external diseconomies. Increase in input prices. Why the input prices may rise? See, if what happens, if there are large producers, the demand for raw material will be more. All the industry or firm, there are production increases, right? So if the production, large scale production will increase by all the firms in the industry, the demand for raw material by all the firms will also increase. Every firm will want more raw material because every firm is increasing its scale of production. So if the raw material requirement is in huge quantity, the demand is more, so supply is not in that level, the price of that raw material ultimately will go high. The price of raw material is high, means what will happen? Cost of production is high. Cost of production is high is an disadvantage to the firm. Every firm in the industry will have this disadvantage, is that diseconomy, that its cost of production is high. That only they are seeing. When the industry expands, the demand for factor input increases. As a result, the input prices such as wages, prices of raw material shoot up. This causes the cost of production to rise. Pressure on infrastructure facilities. So what happens? Again, the demand for raw material will increase. So that what it will bring is that pressure on that infrastructure facility like road, transportation facilities. It will create a large scale bottleneck on it. Means what? There will be not, if we previously the raw material was coming in one day, now it will take 2 days because every one requires that raw material and it has to produce it. So it will be lot of firms requiring, so more people, so that it will take 2 days. So bottlenecks will increase. So the material which we were getting previously in a one day, it will take 2 days to receive or go down. So again more problems we are facing, more bottlenecks we are facing, right? Pressure on infrastructure facilities. And if the raw material comes late, again it will be delay in our production. We will be wasting our time, labor will be idle. Labor idle, that cost we have to bear. Cost of production will increase. Exhaustible natural resource. See, if I am mining gold, I am a person who is mining gold. That I am a company which goes and tries to mine gold from the, like I am having a machinery which is digging and finding the gold, and after I get that gold natural resource, I purify it and convert it into gold and then sell it in the market. So if first I was having only one company. Now what I did, one plant. What I did, I increased the plant to more 2 plants I increased. And in that same area I started mining gold. So will the gold increase in that area even if I increase the plant to 2 or 3? So the natural resource or the scarce resources which we have are not increasing, right? Even if we increase our machinery, increase our scale of production or increase the number of plants. So that only they are saying the resources are exhaustible natural resources, right? These economies may rise due to exhaustible natural resources. Doubling the fishing fleet may not lead to doubling the catching of fish. Doubling the plant in mining or in an oil extraction field may not lead to doubling of output. Because the gold mineral is remaining same. Boys, clear on it? Diseconomies of disintegration. So, what disadvantage I told you at the start due to disintegration, what disadvantage might be there? See, if one firm like we were discussing, one Mahindra, Tata and Volkswagen, they are doing one operation of producing the car. If Mahindra is not able to perform the first operation due to any reason, lack of electricity, lack of raw material, the other operations which will be sequence of operations which will be performed by Tata and Volkswagen will also get stopped, right? So if it is stopped, again bottlenecks, again issues in the production, again the cost of production will increase. Clear? Same they have explained here. When the production of the commodity is disintegrated means what? One production function is done by one firm. Among various processes and sub-processes, it may prove disadvantageous after a certain limit. The problem and fault in one unit. What I told, problem or fault, if Tech Mahindra is not able to perform the first operation due to lack of raw material, electricity, any problem or bottleneck, the other operations also in the process don't get performed. The problem and fault in one unit may create problem for the whole industry. Coordination among different concerns poses a problem. Now, what will be the impact of external economies and diseconomies on the long-term average cost curve? External economies. Economies means what? Advantages or disadvantages? Advantage. So, cost will reduce or increase? Reduce. So, if the cost is reducing due to economies, external economies, the cost will, LAC curve will go downwards. LAC1 will shift, cost is reducing due to economies, right? Shift, it will shift to downwards. LAC to LAC2. Again, due to diseconomies, the cost of production will increase. Cost of production will increase. Diseconomy is disadvantage, cost of production increases. So, the average cost curve, LAC, will move upwards. So, that this side on y-axis we have cost, right? High cost now. LAC curve will become LAC3. Clear? Same they have explained here. We'll take a break. 5 o'clock. Clear up till now? No doubts, na guys?
Am I audible on Teams? Sheila? Hello? Thank you, Sheila. Yes, yes. So, boys, what we were going to discuss? Next concept, right? Clear on this? Economies means what? Advantages. Due to these advantages, what happens? The cost reduces. So, the curve, LAC curve will shift downwards, cost will reduce. These economies means what? Disadvantages due to the large scale production that we encounter. So disadvantages, the cost of production goes on increasing. Cost will increase, so the LAC curve will shift upwards, right? Now we will discuss concepts of revenue. I'll erase this first, okay? Screen mirroring is not on. Now. Very good. What we'll do is that we'll complete this whatever we have, means of production and these concepts of revenue. So what will happen? We will be on track. This is erased. Now we will see this concept. This hanger. Tab is hanged. What we were discussing on revenue, concepts of revenue, right? So now we are going to discuss the concepts of revenue. So what is the revenue? Anyone can tell me what is revenue? How we will derive a revenue for a firm? Revenue means what? The sales, right? The sales figure we will derive. That will be the revenue. So how we will derive it? Selling price into number of units sold, right? That will be the revenue, right? And what is revenue? Huh? What you were saying? But it is a source of income that we will get after converting the raw material into finished goods. We will sell those finished goods, and after selling that finished goods, the source of income that we get is the revenue. That it is the income obtained by the firm or producer by the sale of goods and services in the market. That is the sales. The sales figure in the profit and loss statement is what? The revenue, right? After selling the finished goods, the amount that we are receiving as a source of income is our revenue. There are three concepts in it. Again, total revenue, marginal revenue and average revenue. So what is total revenue? The revenue that we get aggregating or summing up all the revenue of the products. Suppose if Tata Motors is selling Nano, Nexon and other different Indica. So the revenue that it gets in this year, in a particular year from Indica, adding it with the revenue of Nano, adding it with the revenue of Tata, Nexon, Indica and Nano and other Tata related products or goods that they are selling. So adding up all the revenue of all the finished goods that we are selling is the total revenue, or adding up the marginal revenue will give us the total revenue, right? It is the total. Hello? Yes, Sheila. Any doubt? आवाज नहीं येते? Now am I audible? एक मिनिट मी बघते काय इश्यू. टीम्स वर ना माईक तर चालू आहे. स्पीड ओके थँक्यू. परत करते मी डिस्कस, ठीक आहे. सी, so Sheila, we were discussing what is revenue. So revenue is what? The income that we generate after converting the raw materials into finished goods. We sell those finished goods. We get an income after selling these finished goods. That income is the revenue. That is the sales figure, right, in the profit and loss statement, right? Yes, Sheila? Hello? रेव्हेन्यू म्हणजे काय? रेव्हेन्यू म्हणजे काय? म्हणजे आपण ज्या रॉ मटेरियल आणतो, रॉ मटेरियल कन्वर्ट करतो फिनिश गुड्समध्ये आणि ते फिनिश गुड्स आपण सेल करतो. ते सेल केल्यानंतर आपल्याला जे पैसे, जे इन्कम सोर्स, वॉट एव्हर इन्कम वी गेट, दॅट इज नोन ॲज रेव्हेन्यू, राईट? दॅट इज द सेल्स फिगर इन द प्रॉफिट अँड लॉस स्टेटमेंट, राईट? So that is revenue. So what will be total revenue, Shaila? We were discussing these three concepts: total utility, marginal utility, average utility, like marginal product, average product. These three concepts. Hello? So total revenue. See, if Tata Motors has different types of cars, it is selling Nano, Indica, Nexon, and other different types of cars. So the adding up the revenue from Nano, Indica, Nexon and other different cars that it is selling will give us the total revenue, right? Yes. Of Tata Motors. So that is only it is saying. It is the aggregation of the revenue from all the goods that the organization is selling. And on other way what it can be? Adding up the marginal revenue will also give up the total revenue, right? What we were discussing in case of marginal utility, total utility is also a summation or aggregation of marginal utilities. Similarly, total revenue is also an aggregation or summation of marginal revenue. Clear on this, Sheila? Okay. So we will see this only. Total revenue. It is the total amount of income obtained by the firm or producer by selling total goods and services in the market. The sum of all marginal revenue is also called total revenue. It is written total revenue is equal to aggregation of marginal revenues. Or other way, total revenue can be price into quantity, that is the sales figure, right? Right, Piyush? Average revenue. Now Piyush, you tell me average revenue. We saw what is average cost. Same here for average revenue. What it will be? Average revenue. What it will be? Total revenue. Quantity sold, right? And other thing is here. Same it is. It is the revenue per unit of output sold in the market. When the total revenue is divided with the number of units of output, average revenue can be obtained. So average revenue is equal to total revenue divided by the number of units of output. Now Piyush, tell me marginal revenue. Marginal utility we saw, marginal cost we saw, marginal product we saw. What is marginal revenue? The change in the revenue or the addition in the revenue due to the change in the quantity. So, what formulas will be there for marginal revenue? TC previously for cost we were using. Now for revenue, what it will be? TR. Total revenue N minus total revenue N minus 1. And another change in the total revenue. Margin is what? Change, right? What we were saying, change in the total. For cost it was change in the cost divided by change in quantity. For revenue it will again become change in the total revenue divided by change in the quantity. Clear? Marginal revenue. It is the additional revenue obtained by the firm or producer by selling additional unit of a thing, one or more unit of thing. The change in the total revenue is also called marginal revenue. Change is what? Margin or addition that it brings, right? Now we will see what revenue curves we find in different markets. Okay? What impact it is bringing? Average revenue and marginal revenue curves in a perfectly competitive market. We will see what happens to average revenue, marginal revenue in a perfectly competitive market. Okay? You clear on average revenue, marginal revenue? What is perfectly competitive market? Perfectly competitive market is a market in which all the products that are sold are homogeneous. It is not an ideal scenario, but what happens is that the products which are sold are homogeneous and the price in that market remains constant. It does not change due to the changes in the demand and supply or the buyer and sellers. Like what we were previously seeing in a normal market, what happens if the demand increases but the supply remains the same? Price will increase, right? But in other case, demand, what happens? Supply increases but demand remains constant. Price will fall. So the price is determined by the demand and supply or the buyers or sellers in the market, right? But in a perfectly competitive market, as the goods that are sold are homogeneous, the price is not determined by the demand or supply or the buyers or sellers in the market. Mostly the price, since the goods are homogeneous, the price remains constant. Okay? So what impact it will bring on average revenue and marginal revenue in a perfectly competitive market, we are seeing. What will happen to average revenue and marginal revenue? See here, what they are saying, price is constant as the all goods are homogeneous. If everything is same, see when the price will be more or less, when a good has more other feature than another good, more quality, then the price of this good will be more than another other good, right Piyush? But if there is no difference, everything is same. This pen is also same, that pen is the extremely 99% they are same. Will the price vary because the features are also same, the material used is same, everything is same. So the price for homogeneous goods will not change, it will remain constant. So here in a perfectly competitive market, as all the goods are homogeneous, the price is not determined by the demand and supply or the buyers and sellers. The price is mostly constant for those goods. So as the output increases, the price remains constant. So what will happen if the price remains constant? Revenue will also, what will happen? See, one output price. Revenue will be what? Price into output, right? Output multiplied by the price will give you the total revenue, right? Sales figure. So 1 into 10 is what? 10. Again 2 into 10 it will give you 20. 3 into 10 it will give you 30. 4 output sold into price is 10 only, it will give you 40. 5 into 10 it will give you 50. We got the total rate. Now we will see what is the average revenue and marginal revenue. How we will calculate the average revenue? Total revenue 10 divided by the output 1. 10 divided by 1 is 10, right? Again, total revenue 20 divided by the output 2. 20 divided by 2, again 10. Now total revenue 30, output is 3 units that we have sold, 30 by 10, again the average revenue is coming 10. So again see 40 divided by 4, 10. So the average revenue is also 10, 10, 10, 10, which is equal to what? What is 10 here? Price is also 10 rupees. So what is happening? The price and the average revenue are same. What we observe. And what is happening to marginal revenue again? We will see what is marginal revenue. Change in the total revenue. So total revenue was 20. What was later it is becoming 20. 10. 20 minus 10, 10. 30 minus 20, 10. 40 minus 30, 10. 50 minus 40, 10. So again we are getting what is happening? Marginal revenue is also 10. So what happens in a perfectly competitive market? Average revenue is equal to the marginal revenue, which is also equal to the price of the product. So mostly what happens in a perfectly competitive market is that average revenue and marginal revenue are equal. See, in the above diagram, average revenue and marginal revenue curve is parallel to O-axis. Average revenue and marginal revenue are equal because the price is constant in the market. While if the price was changing, average revenue and marginal revenue would have also changed. Since the price is constant in the market, average revenue and marginal revenue are equal. Clear? So Piyush, tell me, what is a perfectly competitive market? That is does not depend on the demand and supply or the buyers or sellers in the market. Products are homogeneous and price is constant. So what happens in a perfectly competitive market? Average revenue and marginal revenue are what? Same. Because why? The price does not change. Price is constant. So average revenue and marginal revenue are equal. Now we will see in an imperfect market. So what will happen in an imperfect market? Will the product be homogeneous? No. Second thing, what will the price be constant? No. So what will determine the price? The demand and supply. The buyers and sellers will in the market will help in determining the price of the product. Okay, now we will see. Just a minute. I'll erase this. इसका उतना ईयर Now we will see. Now what in this table we are seeing? It is a imperfect market. So there is a change in the price. Here what is happening? The price is decreasing from 10 to 6, right? First it was 10, now it is becoming 9, then 8, 7 and 6. Okay? Output is increasing. Price is decreasing. Total revenue is what? Price into output. That is price into number of units sold. 1 into 10, total revenue will be 10. 2 into 9, 18. 3 into 8, 24. 4 into 7, 28. 5 into 6, 30. We got the total revenue. Now we will see what impact we are having on average revenue and marginal revenue in an imperfect market. Average revenue, what it will be? Total revenue is 10 divided by the output 1, 10. 18 divided by 2, 9. 24 divided by 3, 8. 28 divided by 4, 7. And 30 divided by 5, 6. Now we will calculate marginal revenue. So 10, at first previous there is nothing. So it will remain 10. 18 minus 10, 8. 24 minus 18, 6. 28 minus 24, 4. And 30 minus 28, 2. So now what we are seeing? As the output is increasing, what is happening to the average revenue? Decreasing. And what is happening to the marginal revenue also? Decreasing. When the price is decreasing, average revenue, marginal revenue, both are decreasing, even if the output is increasing. So what it is saying? But what we can see? Price is equal to what? What you can see? Price is equal to what? Average revenue or marginal revenue? Average revenue. So what we can conclude is that in all types of markets, whether it is perfect, imperfect, the price and the average revenue are always noted down in your books. And what we can see in the imperfect market, now we will discuss. As the output is increasing and the price is falling, average revenue is also falling and marginal revenue is also falling. Right? So this curve, see, as a figure 1.41, price or revenue on y-axis, x-axis output. As the output is increasing, average revenue is decreasing, marginal revenue is also decreasing, right? Now we will revise this. So what at the first what we were seeing in a perfectly competitive market, all the goods are homogeneous. So the price is constant. It is not determined by the demand or supply or the buyers or the sellers in the market. If the price is constant in a and the market is perfectly competitive, average revenue is equal to what? Marginal revenue. And average revenue will also be equal to the price. Also in imperfect market, The goods are not homogeneous, the price is not constant. It is determined by the demand and supply in the market. What is happening? Price is equal to the average revenue. But as the output increases, price will decrease. Price decrease. What is happening? Average revenue and marginal revenue both are falling. Clear? Hey, what you should do is just write case 1, case 2. Write perfectly competitive, write only the keywords. Perfectly competitive market, all goods are homogeneous, price constant. Okay? What happens? When the output increases, average revenue is equal to marginal revenue, average revenue is also equal to the price. 3-4 sentences just to write. And in imperfect market, what happens? All goods are not homogeneous, price is not constant. As the output increases, price decreases, average revenue and marginal revenue go on decreasing. Also, price is equal to average revenue in all markets. Not to read this everything, okay? Just to write before exam what will happen. This is a book, big book that you have to revise, right? So what you should do, right? Take a book, just this one page, 66 and 65. What to do? Only the bullet points you need to note to write down in a book, right? And revise that and go for the exam. Because if you will open this book for the whole time for the exam, you will not be able to recall and what to read. Lot of time you will be get wasted because you have to revise quickly and go for the exam, right? In short, you can revise and then go. Clear? Sheila, is it clear? Hello? On Teams? Hello? Ha, any doubt? Clear, na? Okay, okay. It's not getting erased. I think we'll stop for this today. We'll take means of production and the next topic, which is the different types of markets, tomorrow. Okay? No, it's already 5:43. Okay? Happy Mahashivratri. Bye.